Well, hi everyone. Welcome to week number 262 of the virtual Cobalt Cafe poetry reading series. Full house tonight. Really excited to have so many people here tonight to participate in our open reading, just here to watch or listen to poetry, as well as to see our featured reader, Todd Robinson. Todd, really glad that you're here. Looking forward to hearing you read. We're going to do 5 open readers first, and then we will have you come on. And just so you know, if you signed up, we did randomize the order from everyone who signed up prior to us starting. First 5 readers will be Sean Mahoney, Heather Romero, Kornblum, Trevor Watkin, Bill Gaines, and then Anna Stork, then our featured reader, and then everyone else. If in the randomized order that has been pre-selected by the random gods. That's actually my religion, by the way, just so you know. Judaism and then randomism. It's all part of it. Anyway, I'm rambling. That's also part of my belief system. If you would like to participate and you haven't already done so, send me a message in the chat. I'll be happy to add you to the list. You get to read up to 2 poems, maximum of 2 poems, and the suggested time limit is less is more. That's an official time, which I learned about when I visited Greenwich Mean Time, which is an actual place that you can go to if you choose to. So 2 poems maximum, less is more is the time limit. We do have a 1 drink minimum here at the Cobalt. Make sure that you have a beverage with you of some kind. Observe that tradition in some way, any way that you choose. Also, make sure you have the chat room open. This is since everyone is muted throughout the festivities, this is how you get to interact with each other, react to what you're hearing, send each other messages, etc. I think I almost said massages there. If you figure out a way to send each other massages, please do that as well. That's what the chat room is for. I think that's everything I need to tell you before we get to our um, thank you, Finn. I felt that. If before we get to our first open reader, I'd like to ask if there are any questions. Looks like Finn has her hand up right away. Hello, Finn.
Good evening, Rick. Good evening, poets. If I was asking for a vampire friend and they wanted to go on a fast, how would a vampire go about going on their fast, a 1 week fast?
I just think it takes, stick-to-itiveness and stamina, just like it would for any non-undead creature. Even if you're not of a preternatural nature, or it's the same thing. You just gotta, make a commitment and stick to it.
I'll pass it on. Thanks.
Sure, no problem. Martin, what's your question?
Good evening, Rick. I don't think I've asked this question before, but I was just wondering today if you've ever been driving down the road and randomly saw a goat on the side of the road.
Uh, I haven't, though. That's always been one of my dreams. And when I was driving on a road here, which they've creatively called the Old Road, I don't know what its name was before they put in new roads. Was it just the road? I'm not sure, but it's called the Old Road. And when we drive on that road into where we live, there was one of those uh, uh, Caltrans signs where they can change what it says. It's an electric sign, and it just said, "Watch out, goats." Which had all of us driving really slowly and carefully to look for goats. There were no goats. It was just a ruse to get us to drive safely around this bend. So I felt a little bit cheated, and I'm still looking for goats on the road.
What a disappointment. Well, I'm
Yeah.
talking about old roads. There's one near where I grew up that's called Street Road because it was back when the streets and roads were more or less the same thing.
Wow.
And there was the east part and the west part, so there was E Street Road, which really confused people who were from Asbury Park.
Sure. I understand. Good question, Martin. Thank you. Any other questions before we get going? Cathabella, yes.
What comes to your mind, Rick, when I say grasshopper?
I think the movie Karate Kid comes to mind.
Wow.
I'm not sure. I mean, that feels like something that, a master of a particular art might refer to his or her student as grasshopper.
Nice.
And so, for some reason, the film Karate Kid, which has some of that in it, came to my mind immediately when you said grasshopper.
Sounds great.
Okay, well, thank you, Cathabella. All right, well, I think it's time to get the reading going. Heather Romero Kornblum, you are on deck. Please welcome our first reader, Sean Mahoney. Hello, Sean.
Good evening, Rick. Hello, everybody. I have a bit of silliness for you tonight. One poem. This is called Where Has What Ever Gotten Anyone? Are my apple candy and absinthe adorning the table? Be my betrothed baby, be luster bedraggled with bitumen. Connect cyan dots and make chains, canopy of off colors. Distance, decibels, deafening within disability and deco. Easton, south of Fresno, Erie, enthusiastically so. Frail as newborn foal, spindle legs flummoxed by fans. Goriest demigod, no guts and good gracious all glory. Holy hell, Helios hearkens dawn and haberdasheries. An illusion of ingots embrace ideas for ink endures too. Jackalope jumps and Jersey boys, jerk and jive jazz. Kilo of kerosene carted by Minikiss, kablamo! Leroy and Leonard met Ludwig, lasciviousness ensued. Masticate madly, meaty marshmallows and warm milk. Nice being noticed by naysaying know-nothings, nasty. Occipital lobe, ornery outstretched arms to oblivion. Precisely why promises are made piques my pituitary. Quiet now, quorum, elucidate quandary in quicksand. Robust rom-com reduced to rerun status, ratatouille race. Sadly, the saddest Sunday slapaholic, a sticky Monday. Teeth taken during truant trust fall, mobility tension. Umbrage underseas with Jacques Cousteau, unfathomable. Vines and victuals, vicissitudes veering toward victory. Whenever dinner rests, wrangle watermelon and wasabi. X-Clan, nearly forgotten. Xenopus requires xylitol first. Why be clever? You may be yellow and yawning, so yes. Zhoosh, zany Zoroastrians entitlement for ziti. Zhoosh. End piece.
Am I correct that you use the phrase bedraggled with bitumen?
I did.
Okay, I'm just gonna let you know that that is going on your permanent record.
But do you know what bitumen is used for? Bitumen, excuse me.
Um, I don't know that I'm allowed to. Ever since I got married, I'm not allowed to use that word.
Really? Go on. We're all waiting. You have a captive audience. Please tell us.
I mean, I answered your question. That what an odd response to that, Sean. Sean, I enjoyed that. That was a lot of fun. Thank you so much for sharing that fun piece with us. Perhaps the theme tonight will be fun. Who knows?
I hope so.
All right. Well, thank you for being here. Thanks for bringing the fun. Round of applause for Sean Mahoney. On deck, Trevor Watkin. Please welcome now Heather Romero Kornblum. Hello, Heather.
Hi. Yeah, so on that fun note, I'm going to read one slightly longer one called Back to the Fun House. Um, and it's originally in Southern California Pathways with Four Feathers Press. Four Feathers Press. But yeah, Back to the Fun House. Circa 2012, the obstacle in the path becomes the path. So you've identified it, that thing that's holding you back. The obstacle in the path becomes the path. The what if I hit an obstacle in the path that was the obstacle, and so on ad infinitum. So you've identified it, called it names, called it into being, felt mollified, identified, belong to a group of other name callers who have invoked the same names, called them up like spirits, talisman, gods of protection. What is the obstacle in your path? It is this river I chose this time that was supposed to be different from all other rivers, but leads to the sea nonetheless. All rivers lead to the sea? Really? Do all rivers lead to the sea? It's been proven all rivers lead to the sea unless we dry them up or place dams and tamper with their natural inclination in one ecological disaster or another. What is the obstacle in your path? It is this thing I feared. Someone will pull me over and tell me I chose the wrong river, though it inevitably leads to one sea or another. Forget my wisdom. I have my methods. Circa 2020, the obstacle in the path becomes the path. The obstacle in my path became my path to obsession. What is the obstacle in my path? It is this thing I feared. I burn things I touch. I drag the obstacles I've overcome behind me, like rocks that carve out lines and lines of mini paths. What is the obstacle in my path? It is that I grieve for every path I'm forced to abandon due to an obstacle. The grieving creates obstacles and new paths ad infinitum. What is the obstacle in my path? It is that I have no path. The obstacle in my path is that I let obstacles dictate new paths too many times. I use acceptance against myself. I use complacency as a muzzle. What is the obstacle in my path? It is that I've become a map, a labyrinth of useless roads no one actually wants to take. I've become a river, flowing to any sea that will have me. I've become a sea, absorbing all rivers, and wasted path dirt accumulated along the way. Forget my wisdom. I have my methods. Back to, but hopefully escaping the funhouse. What is the obstacle in my path? I persisted until I followed paths that didn't exist. Obstacles that vanished when I approached to gain a clearer view. My obstacles were moving goalposts. The fun house I entered distorted my sense of agency. Once recognizing that I'm also an obstacle, I tried to escape the fun house, dragging myself around like a rock and creating unnecessary paths as I looked for the exit. My wisdom and methods were faulty, affirming flashbacks and mirages, looping me into time warps. What is the obstacle in my path? I abandoned so many paths that it becomes too easy to find a new obstacle and start over. So that's what I got for you guys today. Hope I didn't read it too
Heather, that
fast.
was great. No, it was great. The repetition of the language, I think, helped us stay with it. So nice job. May your path be free of obstacles, and if you choose to float out to the sea, may that also be something that you achieve on whatever river you desire. Thank you for being here. Round of applause for Heather Romero Kornblum. On deck is Bill Gaines. Please welcome now Trevor Watkin. Hello, Trevor.
Hello. Hello. Bit of good news, actually. The poem that I read the last time I was here was actually accepted for publication. It's going to be in the Whale Road Review in December, which is pretty exciting. So I've got two. I've got a tiny one and I have a less tiny one, but it's not long. This first one is called A Small Refusal. You said, let it go. I said, I have let it go, while holding the grudge like a decorative vase I never asked for, but will absolutely die with. It's not that I'm angry, I'm just archivally inclined. I collect slights the way some people collect stamps, carefully, chronologically, with commentary. You think I'm bitter. I think I'm curating. You say everyone makes mistakes. I say yes, and some people make careers out of it. You say, be the bigger person. I say, I weigh 245, and this is as big as I care to get. What you did was small. What I'm doing is smaller. Just a casual denial of closure, a tasteful frost in July. And then this next one is called How to Die Shining. Somewhere in the velvet static, light invents itself. A trembling, blue then gold, a swirl that remembers nothing but how to burn. Stars scatter themselves with a confidence I never learned. Whole galaxies curl like smoke around a silence that has no edges. Clouds tumble astride the rims of planets no hand will ever touch, as rings glint and vanish around their throats. The deaf sky crackles below, auroras unspooling green above their ice field mirrors. The beauty aches, impossible, endless comets comb the infinite black, spiral arms reaching, supernovas breaking themselves open just to color the dark. A single nebula breathes in magenta, primly writes its own ending with slow, deliberate hands. Dust lingers, glows, gathers itself into a promise, then lets go. There is no witness, no memory, only this seeing, this knowledge blooming like frost in the vacuum, this yes that expands, that dissolves, and leaves nothing but the afterimage of wonder, unobserved, unneeded, sufficient to itself. Beauty does not require eyes, nor history, nor hope. The dark does not envy the light. The void asks nothing. Still, the stars make a tapestry and tear it apart, over and over, as if someone were watching.
Trevor, that was great. Beauty does not require eyes, is a line that's going to stick with me for a while. And well done. Nice to see you again. I think you were here a few months ago. Once it's welcome back. Please come again and don't be a stranger. Great to hear your work tonight. Round of applause for Trevor Watkin. Thank you, Trevor. Two more poets, and then our featured reader, Todd Robinson, Anna Stork, you're on deck. Please welcome now Bill Gaines. Hi, Bill.
Hello. Hi, thank you for having me. I'm pleased to be here. I have two tonight as well. I will be reading first. This is called Impossible Battles. The air is my enemy, and they've got me surrounded. So I throw my hands up and open the gateway to my lungs. And it turns out surrender is not the end of the world. It just means I need to choose my enemies more carefully. Sleep is also my enemy because it's easier to fight, but eventually I'll lose this battle too. All those dreams I try to ignore will worm their way into my head, and as soon as I start to enjoy the ride, I'll wake up and I'll have lost everything all over again. So now I choose the abominable snowman to be my enemy because we'll probably never meet, but if we do, I have chosen my enemies so poorly that I deserve to be torn limb from limb by a yeti. End of piece. Next one up is called The Tunnel. I dig until I fall asleep, then I wake up and dig some more. And I dig until I fall asleep again. I can't explain this tunnel. The truth of this moment is irrelevant, for we are on a starship, all these musicians and me, and we all have our shovels, and we know how to dig. In the morning, we'll know more, but we won't know what we thought we'd know. It's an open escape to the cold blue sky, the sun as bright as a fried egg with coffee, the towers like spatulas, the stratosphere non-stick. This pastry earth and its flaky crust kiss it goodbye. We're aliens now, skipping dimensions like stones on a pond, chasing rabbits down wormholes, working the shift and whistling while we dig. End of piece.
Bill, can't you and the
Yes.
abominable snow people just get along?
I'm sure they're super nice, but I've never met them. And so all I have to go on is reputation.
Okay, I guess that's kind of smartly cautious. But until they, I don't know, kidnap your dog, you probably should, have an open mind before you.
Well, I gotta have someone for my enemy, Rick. What am I gonna do?
Sure. Maybe sleep was a good choice, as you mentioned. I'm not sure. And when you do defeat sleep, let me know. I'm on your side there. Bill, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you,
Round of
Rick.
applause, round of applause for Bill Gaines. On deck is our featured reader, Todd Robinson. Please welcome now Anna Stork. Hello, Anna.
Hi, thank you. I'm gonna read two poems. The first is Veronica Patterson's from Swan Wet Shores, which I got for 25 cents in Estes Park this summer. So, Margaret. Margaret is a field. In the field, goldenrod thickens. Weeds grow so tall that by August you can't see. Margaret is a path through the field, and she is where the path disappears. Margaret is the house with the red door and the room with the maroon floor where 4 children sleep a troubled sleep. When they wake, she sends them outside and they raise a calf, a collie, each other. Margaret smokes so she can see each sigh. She smokes constantly. The ashtray overflows. Later, as therapy, she will make ashtrays. Margaret is a dream Margaret once had. Margaret drinks towards the dream she can't quite forget and doesn't dare remember. She wakes to choose sleep. She is a wrong turn Margaret took, or several turns. She is bad about directions. Margaret is not a door that opens, nor cruelty, nor a bed, nor forgiveness, but she can be forgiven. I repeat, Margaret is a field and a path through the field, and the path and the point where the path disappears. She will not come to find you. Because she will not come to find you, you start out deep in this gold and weedy field. Veronica Patterson. And then I'll be reading a poem of my own. Wishbone. Gas was $2.87 at the pump today. Don't they know that you're already dead? And you'll never drive anywhere ever again. Never drive the shitty streets of Council Bluffs, curbing potholes with my mother yelling at men on the street because you're 15 and stupid. The roads forking like the wishbone we split on Thanksgiving a decade ago. And when it splits in my favor, I will beg for a difference in the weather, a difference in the gray suffocating Toledo, your kids sitting in lawn chairs with the garage door open, waiting for my flight to land, for you to pull in. They pull me into a hug, regret the circumstances, tell me to eat anything in the fridge, milk you bought not even expired, packages still being delivered under your name. The gray never falls. I convince myself you are the light in the garage that won't stop flickering.
Wow, Anna, that was both of those poems were fantastic. I really appreciated the Veronica Patterson poem, Margaret is a Dream, Margaret Once Had was a great line. Your poem from top to bottom was really great. But please come back and read more for us here at Cobalt Poets. It would be really great to hear more of your work. And let us know where we can get gas at that price as well, if you would. It's $100 a gallon here in Southern California. Thank you for being here. Round of applause for Anna Stork. Well done. On deck after our featured reader is the collab Cathabella, Chris, Jackie, and Siggy. Leads us now to our featured reader, Todd Robinson. Todd is a poet who was recommended to me by a poet named Eric Campbell. Todd writes fantastic work. The poem that he sent for the broadside has all kinds of really interesting imagery that I read numerous times as I was putting the broadside together for it. It's a really cool piece that I can't wait to show you in a little bit. He's the author of a couple of books, most recently 2018 Mass for Shut-ins, and also a book called Note at Heart Rock. He has been published in the Adroit Journal, the North American Review, Rattle, Spillway, and works as an associate professor in the Writers' Workshop at the University of Nebraska, Omaha, where he's apparently quite beloved because 1 billion people came to see him read today in this space. And that is really, I think, kudos to you and who you are, and just the little bit that you've talked. As I was saying, do you know this person? Do you know this person? People who hadn't been in this reading before, the way you'd said, oh, that's a great person, and this person is so cool. Undoubtedly, the way that you receive other people is a huge lesson in who you are. Todd, I'm really happy that you're here with us. Please welcome our featured reader, Todd Robinson.
Thank you, Rick. Your generosity is it's astounding. So thank you for all the beautiful broadsides you make and for running this beautiful series. Thank you all for coming, old friends, old teachers, old students, family members, strangers too. And thank you to the readers. Really lovely work, strange and sibilant. What a marvelous thing we have here. We're all in the bounce house together, loves. And there's enough Capri Suns for everybody. What a like 2000s reference? Is that obsolete? All right, I got some poems, mostly new, and I'm going to read them. I guess it's just time. There's no more preamble. There's just more words. Here they come. This is called Breaking the Vows. Can you hear me okay, everybody? Are we cool? Yeah? All right. Where my half of her bed is veneered in pill bottles, where silver Christmas elks face the dining room wall and blue jays rattle the apocalyptic pine, 100 feet tall and promising to fall on our Spanish tile. The ghost of costume parties past, painting the floors with whiskey, ceiling fans with smoke. Nettle and ivy thrive in this year of our neglect, my eyes sliding up and down a bottle of white vermouth we use as marinade. It's been a decade since I felt that stripe of burn, since a poet offered to wind her hair around my wrist. The way Orion struggles through polluting light, the way a golden hibiscus bends like a satellite dish with the sun, the way my depressed neighbor walks his droopy whippets as I fill our bird bath for sparrows is the way she watches her life stall on the cluttered couch, aching through vertigo and day melt, long guns on the television. Nothing helps, not afternoon watering her face with light, not my lips kissing her heart. Here, where dust settles on books we once had faith to read, we wait for forever to take us back, slow like nowhere. I guess I should preface, most of these are about about this house right behind me, and about my partner who's asleep upstairs. We've been here about 20 years, and she is a disabled physician. So she's been sick for about 7 years, and it's kind of a progressive illness. And so these are not party poems. They're, yeah, poems of love and grief and abiding whatever. How articulate was that? These next 5 poems I just wrote in July, all 5 of them. I did an arts residency at Kimmel Harding Nelson, which I highly recommend you apply for. It was just a gorgeous experience. So these are all new. Who knows how promising they are? Feel free to roast me in the chat. Cloud car. If only summer were gentler, moths not so paper thin. Again, you curl around your own ache, a hill of pills, no help. Isolation chamber music, ladder you drop to insomnia. Your slack mouth crying suicide pain, asking, what am I good for? Begging, euthanize me. How long can you avoid sun, pollen, wind, Delft blue skies? Night might slink past the dogwood to pool at your ankles again. My sympathy summoned like smoke from a candle. Thin as a deer under flowering trees, godless but goodly hearted, let some flutter of sparrows be your prayer. Bruises fading like daytime stargazing. To cool your burning ear, recite a loved line from Doris Lessing. Art is the mirror of our betrayed ideals. Queen of the antibody count, shred that casket catalog. Cultish hope could kick open the moon chamber's door, dash past this gaunt and leafless winter. Yes, your whole body hurts, aches deep within. Head, wrists, knees, ankles, face. You're tired but cannot sleep, mouth on fire. How much to pay for disassembly? Opened at last, you'll know what to ask. Yep, they're all like that. So just to tell you, it's more of that. Feel free to know this. All right, here they come. They're all like that. Here's more. For Cheryl, awake and sleeping. In Budapest, the cathedral of you regarding stained glass, dieseling rain, air intake flinging us home like money. At the monument to labor or falling trees in July, your rosary knuckles, ice under the snowdrift, laughing then crashing, dribbling a ball in the rehab hallway as tarmac buckles or in the big bathtub cooling, water running, stopping, baby Robin asleep in the pool of you. Wear your sure hand with the sewing needle, the golden notebook on the nightstand until your green eyes dried. Interesting patient, infusion chair. To summon you as original you, inevitable as the moon. When did you replace my friend? Biopsy needle sure in the doll hand. Ultraviolet, pollen, too many parts per million to brave sidewalk quiet. Or is it people? Tree ash. You are not anxious, not agoraphobe. Free in theory to walk under flower baskets, but not. Garden beds fallow, you also sleep like dirt. Shut in. Black and white cheeks, a black and white kiss. Button you so on my broken shirt. Dayless weeks on the couch, bed, chair, nowhere. Another morning groaning. Where the prayerless miracle cure? Song you sing in a smaller voice. Anniversary art you buy online. A sea glass seashell. Dream a ladder we climb past the cloud rack. Shoulder blades sharper under your soft shirts. Wilting white count. Moon of you full in my mind's night. In the bedroom, going nowhere. Summer, your net of unseen stars. That last one was the first poem I wrote at this residency. And I finished typing it because I type because I'm cool like John Keats, you know, I type like he did. And I finished typing up that poem. And my wife called and she goes, cancel the credit card. She'd just been scammed. And I was like, oh shit, I got to add this to the poem. It was like, I'm telling you, buddies, this caregiver life, it'll thin your hair. Shift gears a little bit here. This is called My Nebraska. Props to all the Nebraskans in the house tonight. This is for you, loves. My Nebraska. Godless but goodly hearted, keep going. Rose of Sharon, softer than sky, where you stand watching bumblebees gather pollen. The air so humid, it feels like the bottom of some frondy sea. Praise the bend of breaking roof lines over your melancholic era. In a truck bed's scratchy cuneiform, directions to another life. Forget it. Grandma never taught the woman who never taught you, so you smoke menthols and fill the phone with stories, sketching the bare cabinet in an attic where you hope to find family silver, love letters entwine, 1,000-acre deed. Instead, dust rattled your hands while the ghosts laughed and laughed. Keep going through cottonwood shade to the tired river. Catfish sulk there, moody as farmers. Your cousin's corn silk hair before years darkened her grain. 5 hawks stirring river and cloud. this curtain parting decades later into poetry. Wire fence around the farmhouse, burn barrel and back, a hobby horse thrown in after false teeth, sweetener bottles, garter snake too small to respect, corn crib, harrow, mud room with spattered boots, hired hand sweat a good tarnish on dinner plate prayers, the far off time when every body there will be added to the burn pile. Watch your pale feet above the long tub's waterline. They walked beans and misery's rows, sandbars, cool Lutheran pews. Dry them with a thin towel and dress for dancing. A dashboard glows the whole dark between towns, radio static or hog futures, Main Street empty, horizon wide. However soft the sky, bright the stars, you can't make it here, no matter which way the weather bends. The bank's astroturf fades and frays, bars go belly up, pitchforks rust in bow-legged barns, windows full of cats, ditches crawling with bindweed. Gnarled backyard trees dangle rotten ropes. East of the highway, another ethanol plant. Godless but goodly hearted, keep going. A lot of that is from a farm where Angie and I spent a lot of time as children. So glad you're here, Angie. We're back on that farm on the Kippahaw River in northern Nebraska, love. Man, it's a good thing I'm on Prozac or I'd be crying right now and it would short circuit my laptop. I love that Prozac. That's a miracle drug. All right, I'm going to keep going. Couple more, buddies. Two more brand new ones. We'll see how these go. This is called There's an App for That. There's an app, as in an application. There's an app. You know what an app is, Jesus. There's an app for that. Regret avails us nothing, but still I eye the day mournfully. All these hours pacing gravel, my love groaning in the bed I abandoned. The prairie is flat. We could wrinkle it with whiskey, beer cans rattling in the footwells, but there's no cure for tinnitus, and I'm too scatterbrained to meditate. I want to do more than lament my sloth. Soon we will leave here. Charnel reek. Thunderclouds nod, disperse. Mechanical tang of fertilizer through windows. Ash or elm, oak or locust I walk under to the crazy wide river. Sorghum or coal in the clanging train. Are those birds flashing through bug matter grackles or swifts? Is that a blue heron winging past the co-op? Turkey vulture on the obsolete hospital's stone cross? I don't need to know. That one. I don't know if that one's ready. I think that ends it's a little ambulatory. But that's cool. This is called Original You. And Ken Cool, you're sort of referenced in here, not by name, but this is yeah, you were there, buddy. Original You. Miasmic July morning at the Drapes, blue crashing you awake again, birds in summer fever, flowers everywhere. All those days blasting out the door to rattle bikes with boys sturdy as rams over curbs and dirt. Parents, grandparents alive in their kitchens, black coffee, radios on. Your hair was gold then, chain link fences, ladders to nowhere. Dawn's eyes in her dewdrop face before she moved away. Now you fill the electric kettle, ears ringing with the steam. Friends become thick-necked phantoms on a screen. Your father blind in one eye, lonely old grubber. Wife tending her leg wound. A robin bashes the window, flaps away. Winter will claim these flaring leaves, bury your mother in snow. Nothing to do for it. Eat your cereal, walk before the sun rages. Life, they say, is sweet. Those were all ones I wrote in Nebraska City, buddies, at my little writing residency. And I'm going to end with just 3 more little dudes, and then we'll move on. Thank you for listening. This is called Starless. Done with midlife drunkenness, he pushes no pram past quaint tutors and roses toward another era's forgetting. Soon he will find himself shivering in a brown river far from here, but closer to home, to the bone, to beginning. Those waters covered his boy hands, camouflage catfish and sinkholes, mysteries fit to whisk a child away. Dog logic, feet frisking over sandbars. God logic, the whir of turbine blades over ghost towns. Sun-touched unbeliever in grief-kissed skin might as well praise the black book in a preacher's hand. Peacock feathers flattering grandmother's mason jar. Praise withered taverns your grandfather haunted. Praise starless farm fields. All right, pals, 2 more, and this party can proceed. Thank you. This is called The Cool Thing About Poetry is You Can Say Whatever You Want. I need to be reminded of that. I've been working on my 10,000 calorie a day diet, hoping to get on my 600-pound life so my wife will watch me while she watches TV. That's a shitty way to say I feel neglected. I'm like that, side reel and confusing. What I want, what I don't. Tomorrow, I might sit on a tree stump and write a poem about the black rabbit Rainy saw. Or I'll just pace the dusty floorboards, wanting to die. The cruel thing is, no one cares. I wrapped a red ribbon around my manuscript with the alluring title, I Suppose I Should Kiss You Now, and left it under the tree for my one and only, who left it back for me. We haven't touched tongues in 6 months. That's what I'm hiding. It's all so banal. Even the little restaurant we loved in Italy, Vesuvius broken and hulking over the water. It's all so mundane. The bread and cheese, the olive oil, the fucking onions. This is where I circle back to the beginning. The fat man crying in her iris. Yep, weird shit, buddies, weird shit. And this is the last one, and this is the poem that Rick so graciously made a broadside for, which I cannot wait to see. Rick, you're so gifted. This is an Ars Poetica, which I know Anna doesn't like those, so I had to call her out. Ars Poetica, I think it just means poetic art. I don't know. I probably need somebody smarter than me to explain that. You can read this on Cobalt Poetry, but you can't hear it aloud other than right now. Ars Poetica. In the steaming arena of leaf blower and lawnmower wine, I lost my composure. Crawled into a dirty car for a quick ride to nowhere. Dead men howling on the radio. Angry strangers sliding past in their air-conditioned daymares. I'm better than no one, lassoing my longing around this beauty or that, vowing to read the Upanishads, but playing solitaire instead. The problem with building the poem midair is you only have farm fields for runways, Milo or Misery's Rose. I was an optimistic child, even with needles in my little boy hands. I stacked dominoes into peaceful ruins, watched my parents fight, walked the block vivid as the moon, heart a splashing frog, the world already burning. Thank you, loves. Thank you very much. Mwah.
Todd, that was stellar. You had me at the line, we're all in the bounce house and there's plenty of Capri Suns for everyone. I hope that's a poem on its own. Maybe you're going to build another poem around it. I don't know, but I was in right at that point. Not all poems have to be party poems for sure. And what important and loving work and difficult work that you're doing for your partner. She's very lucky to have you doing that, and I can't imagine that that makes every day a Capri Sun fest. But there you go. Dayless weeks on the couch, I thought was great. A garter snake too small to respect. I was offended by, honestly, these poor little things just on the ground, like they deserve the at least, that respect. I thought "I Don't Need to Know" was a fantastic and surprising way to end that one poem. So reconsidering it, but or don't, whatever you want to do is fine with me. So thank you so much for sharing all those little dudes with us. It was really cool. I really enjoyed it. Let me paste this stuff into the right chat. There it is. And I'm going to share the screen to show the broadside I made for your poem. There it is. Not too much of a surprise, I suppose, because it's typically I make the broadside and then I make the event flyer from the broadside. But there it is, Ars Poetica. Sorry, Anna, that's what we're doing today. We're doing Ars Poetica. So there you go. You can download this now. You can see the link in the chat, poetrysuperhighway.com/cobalt. It's an 11 by 17 print. You can look at it on your screen. You can print out and have forever, whatever you would like to do. It is there for you. It's how we compensate our featured poets. I don't have a Venmo or PayPal or way for you to electronically tip Todd, but I can tell you that you can pick up his books. He's got a couple of them. They're available online. I put links to the most recent one on Amazon and bookshop.org. And buying a poet's book is, of course, a fantastic way to let them know that you appreciate them and think that they're cool. And finally, there's also a link to Todd's website, toddfather.net. What a fantastic domain name to have, by the way. I think that's really cool. Todd, thank you so much.
Thank you, Rick. You're a dream, buddy. Thank you for your incredible generosity and graciousness. Man, tell your mama she really made somebody special when she made you.
She's dead, so that's not possible, but I will I will I don't know, I'll find a way. I'll find a way. It's going to happen. Round of applause for our featured reader, Todd Robinson. Thank you so much, Todd. Come back and bring Nebraska people to the open reading anytime. It's great to have Omaha and environs represented here at Cobalt Poets. All right, before we get on to the rest of tonight's reading, I will quickly mention that next week our featured reader will be Sarah Freligh. Sarah Freligh is a poet whose poem got sent to me by the Academy of American Poets one morning as part of their Poem a Day email series, and it was a poem that inspired me to put her on my must invite this person list. So there you go. Sarah will be with us next week. That leads us to the rest of tonight's open reading. Here's who I have in this order. My apologies if I missed anyone. If I did miss anyone, or if you just didn't sign up and would like to read, please don't hesitate to send me a message and I will be happy to add you to the list. Cathabella, Chris, Jackie, and Siggy, you guys are up first. Jeffrey Bryant, Martin Parker, Christopher T. George, Finn Bell, Ed Potastic, Michael G. Hickey, Digwayne, and me. That's who we have in that order. As a friendly reminder, it's 2 poems maximum, and less is more is the time limit. Please welcome the collab, Cathabella Wilson, Chris from Japan, Jackie Chow, and Siggy. Hello to all of you.
We're all here with Rick Wilson and his amazing flute.
It's a kind of modeled on a suling, the Indonesian flute of the Sudanese people.
Yes, we couldn't do it without him. Go ahead. Could you turn on the share? Yeah. Okay, here we go. Let's see. Be here. Are you here? No, you're not here. Wait a minute. Here we go. This happens sometimes. Let's see. Mr. Let's see. Here we go. It's going to be with us any minute. Okay. Where are you? Where are you? I want a festival. That's what it is. I want a festival.
Oh, there it is, okay.
Is it there? No, it's not there. Where is it? I want a festival. Okay.
Come on.
Spread it out, and here we go. Let's see. Try again.
1, 2,
Okay.
3, go.
Here we go.
Yay.
There we are. So, yes, what a wonderful group. And you'll be surprised because how can a grasshopper, a festival, and laughing all be put together in one poem? But we did it. I want a festival. My son Timmy, born 2 a.m. Christmas Day, nurses tiptoe when they bring back the baby. I want a festival.
Dolls Day, I make my own festival where Barbie meets a geisha.
Oh my God, the sound heard from festival stage. How fast can I move? A new favorite from New Orleans, the buskers called Skinny Tuba.
Visit to China in an art supply shop. Intricate models of all kinds of insects posed. Ah, the green grasshoppers.
An ordinary walk. A piece of the sidewalk jumps up. An interesting shape, and why is a grasshopper hopping here?
Bring green hoppers. Daytime noisy entertainment. Sudden scene jumpers. I laugh when my friend is startled and tell her they're crunchy tasty.
Mid-Autumn Festival, stacks of mooncakes in the market. Mother gave me the part with the salted egg yolk.
Onodori, grandson hops around like the grasshopper he keeps in a cage. I can't stop giggling.
The sky in nature. Nice names for drinks. Signature mixes. BSQ brandy, cranberry juice. Let's garnish the grasshoppers.
My laughing Buddha. Oh, here he is, my laughing Buddha. He travels the world with a big bag of everyone's sadness and takes it away.
Showing up for the class picture in a new dress. Did you go shopping? Followed by laughter.
Serious young violinist befriended by a fiddler. Now his first festival beat, tapping to Cajun music, laughing with joy.
Unbridled laughter. So many years ago, ordering pizza with the rotary phone. What was so funny?
Remembering back, soft drinks in cans with local fun names. A Maine festival celebrates Moxie. Tastes like kin to me.
I call in my order, laughing too hard. Pizza with olives and melting mozzarella. shit like a rotary phone.
What an ending.
Yes, sounds like a dolly, I think.
Mm,
Thank you, everybody. It was so
thank
much
you.
fun. Thank you, Rick. We couldn't do it without
Thank you,
you.
everybody.
Thank you, Rick.
The groupies.
Ricks for making this possible.
Thank you all so much. Great collab as always. A lot of fun. Thank you, Cathabella, Chris, Jackie, Siggy, and the Rick that's not me. It's hard to keep track when he's here. Wait, am I him or is he me? I'm not sure, which is what's happening. But your presence is appreciated. Thank you guys very much.
Thank you, Rick.
Collabs are fun.
Yeah.
They are indeed. All right, round of applause to all of the collab folks. On deck, Martin Parker, please welcome now Jeffrey Bryant. Hello, Jeffrey.
Hi, everybody. Wonderful feature, Todd. Thank you very much. I really enjoyed it. Let's see. First poem, The Flapjacks of Infinity. The stars spectate, and we are their dancing bears, not knowing how dead they are, how light years fuck with our darkness, how safe we feel in the twinkling, how one of them could eat a galaxy for breakfast. Mom is up and the kitchen smells like America after the war. The clock's numbers polka around the table. Mom telling them, don't play, children, sit. Eat my flapjacks of infinity. You can't get these on other planets with water. Let's say grace and close our eyes and inhale the present and feel our bodies crave. Take each moment with lots of cream and lots of sugar. Next poem is called Opposables. My thumbs stare at each other when I put my palms on your naked legs. I'm sure there's longing between them. When I fold my hands, they kiss without my knowing. I folded my hands through a lifetime of movies and all their opposites attracting. I folded my hand into yours and felt no opposition. I type out anger when I read about opposition to me and my same-sex desire, using only one thumb that asks me, on occasion, can the other thumb type sometimes? In a river, I baptized the opposites out of you, with the authority vested in me by being alive, and filled the river with gender floating on the surface, and you were reborn as fluid. And God smiled, the same God we binary in prayers, the same one who becomes benevolent when we flip their pronouns, all motherly and kind with incense and black lights. Come over here, which is the opposite of over there, and lock opposable thumbs, and kiss me at length, right where I store all my promises. Thank you.
Jeffrey, if I were president, I would assign you to be secretary of selecting the words and what order they need to be said in. That was really a great couple of poems, fantastic lines in there. The kitchen smells like America after the war. I really want some flapjacks of infinity, and if they don't have them at the next breakfast place I go to, I'm sending them your email to work it out. Thank you so
Done.
much, Jeffrey. Great job.
Thank you all.
Round of applause for Jeffrey Bryant. On deck, Christopher T. George. Please welcome now Martin Parker. Hello, Martin.
Hello again, Rick. Thank you for this space as always, and to everybody in the room here tonight. Got a couple poems here. This first one is called Weekend Wandering. The goat had told us to turn around. He let us know the end of the road had passed us by a while ago. And now we'd invaded a private drive on a point surrounded by bay. We turned around and tried again to find our way back to the road to the bridge to take us home to D.C. She'd never ridden a ferry before. Her smile and wind-blown hair still there, ensconced amid my bookshelf fames and memories of earlier days when I could still drive us around. A weekend wandering the eastern shore, we'd tread upon trails through havens serene and watch the regatta go by. And that's about a weekend we spent at the Eastern Shore visiting a old meeting house, one of the oldest houses of worship made out of wood that's still standing from back in the 1600s. Parts of it were built. Little parts of the last line are plays on the fact that it's called Third Haven Meeting on the Tread Avon River, which sounds like it's an authentic Welsh name for a river, but it's actually a corruption of Third Haven, which is the original name of the river. And the meeting house somehow keeps the name. Anyway, I got one more. This is about my sister, who I possibly don't write enough poems about. This is called Cycles and Ripples. My sister can have a thorny side. It's made it hard to connect at times, but as we wander past our primes, I've learned she cannot keep inside the cycle of emotions she travels around and needs to let the pressure out from anger or her inner doubt in waves of words till peace is found. To talk to my sister without him around is easier now my father is gone, not needing to take the shallows on that threaten to make us run aground. Yet ripples still echo where stones were tossed, at seemingly random signals or signs, connecting us to ancestral lines that pass through familiar waters we've crossed. And I'll put my usual links in if anybody wants to check out my new Clouded Leopard. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Martin. On behalf of all of us and your sister, we appreciate your work tonight. I hope you share that with your sister. Let her know
Yes, I
you're
did.
thinking.
I was surprised she was not at all bothered by it. She said, yeah, it's a good poem.
Good. That's perfect. I'm glad to hear that. Thanks for sharing it with us. And thanks for being here tonight. Round of applause for Martin Parker. On deck is Finn Bell. Please welcome back Christopher T. George. Hi, Christopher.
Hi there. Glad to be here. I'm going to read not my poems, but poems by a friend of mine, Dan Cuddy, who died early Saturday morning. He was an editor of Lochraven Review, long-time editor. And I actually was one of the first editors of Lochraven Review. I'll put the link in the chat. And I invited Dan to join. I've actually known him for 55 years. As you can hear, I'm English. I'm not English, I'm Scouse. I'm from Liverpool. Liverpool, as they'd say there. But I'm going to read a couple of poems of my friend Dan. Okay. Here is Dan in his home in Towson, Maryland. And read this first poem, Affirmation and Negation all in one. Begin again. No, it can't be done. The galaxy has spun. Beyond that time and space, the faces are gone. The dawns have dropped like confetti. And though you want so much nostalgic golden sun, movement of eyelashes, sugar dropping into black coffee, unlacing of crystals, drop of gossamer gown, violins plucking rhythm, a chorus of katydids, and you learning the German word Zeit. No, not to be the echoes, the silhouettes, walk away, mist, fog, steam, engulfs. And you might wonder why the word Zeit is there. I believe Dan was probably in his mid-80s. We met in 1970, both published in the Evening School magazine of Loyola College, Baltimore. I was in the day school, he was in the night school, but he'd already served in the army. It was the time of Vietnam. And so I have to think that having been to Germany in the army, etc., he'd have to be maybe in his mid-80s. And so, yeah, he had to learn the German language when he was there. And one other poem by Dan, Jackson Square, St. Louis Cathedral, of course, about New Orleans. The cathedral, a Spanish mission, wears a Marie Antoinette dress. Looks better than I thought it would. Jackson Square's so trimmed, neat, the flower beds are comfy for the seeds. A poem about such a place should take its cue from the ornamental iron, the fleur-de-lis, grace touched lightly, a sharp menace on many a fence. A poem here should be a trombone, a brassy slide of less than reverential joy, freedom's sass to slavery, swaggertly, swaggerting piety. Joy and glory should be the golden rule, rude. Free us from zombies, the worship of the dead. Spray the air with hot dance, perfumes, and flesh. Caress God's creation. Release juicy rhythm from your soul. And here's a view of Jackson Square and, of course, the cathedral there and the statue of Andrew Jackson. Thanks, everyone.
Christopher, thank you so much for being here. It's been a long time since we've seen you. Really glad to have you back here at Cobalt Poets. Thank you for sharing the work of Dan. I'm sorry for your loss, for our loss, and please keep sharing Dan's work. As we know, as long as we remember someone, they're in a way still with us. They're part of our lexicon of words and people and memories. So it's important work you've done for us tonight. So thanks for being here. Round of applause for Christopher T. George. On deck is Ed Potastic. Please welcome now Finn Bell. Hi, Finn.
Good evening again, Rick. And Todd, thank you so much for blessing us with your just absolutely breath-stealing poetry. That was just phenomenal. Where else can I read you? I want to get every single one of your books. So this is a bit from Andrea Gibson's Take Me With You. I know how much the pain of this world weighs, but I could still tip the scales in life's direction whenever I have your name on my tongue. Okay. When the fog parts, we can begin to see ourselves more clearly. Our only function remains in mapping absences, mapping what is lost and found in the aftermath. Seeking out the most obvious landmarks, demarcation raised in the skin of our topography, the skin raised and differing, a cancerous rolling to the shoreline, to pin and note down and neatly excise. We are not to become numerous in territory claimed, not metastatic, not a land run rough over, given in to others' nature to just leave it alone, to its untamed becoming, to its irrepressible wild. We are dead beneath the scalpel, tidied up, love in remission, for now. For now, we have not yet learned the method used to properly dispose of us, this medical grade waste, this undesirable landmass, stripped of worth, devoid of strategic defense. No, no, no to the trade routes, to bringing home spices, to leaving a trail of broken hearts and broken promises, to bringing with us our inherent sickness, infecting the unsuspecting population between you and me, between us and them. Hey, look, baby. We've reactivated the ill and the purified ground, revived the dormant, cold, retroviral plague. With a messy love like ours, there is no immunity when we touch and we crave and we itch and we pick at the borders between memory and reality. Gentlemen privateers, how dare you call us marauders of a straight shady stripe, plunderers, pillagers? What is civilization without its progress? History does not write itself glorious into its own sacred text if we worry at the bit of our conscience still existing and nitpick pesky consequences. Don't be silly, don't feel guilty. Love, our love was meant to be bought or bartered or sold duty-free. Bypass the warning, heard deafening close in the arriving cannon shot, or the sonic boom of your presence long departed. Bypass the blame, steer and swerve and maneuver. Oh, clever swashbuckling thieves we be, ignoring how past action shapes present. Bypass my damn failing heart with your fucked up artery, swollen heart. It wasn't even yours to give away in the first place. Liar, liar, pants on fire, when you attempted to graft the death inside your cells onto me. I guess we didn't take. And anyway, and besides, and by the way, playing pretend as Dr. Love cheated your way through slanted instruction manuals, and you still botched the surgery. I'm observing as I sanitize your tomfoolery, your tools, post-op, post-mortem, how your silence and absence are drip, drip, dripping down the drain pipe, down the waterway and into the sea, how they are speaking louder than words, even as you rename each one of these variations, saying altered, conquer, cross-section, resize, and divide the anatomy of our love in its entirety. And never do you pause to wonder what we could have been if we had been left to ourselves, untouched and whole. Oh, baby, baby, you can be proud of what we turned into when all the heavy textbooks left us behind, our curious antiquity. You can boast about how you remade us the first craftsmanship, the artisan of the exploitative. We are now merely relationship preserved in suspended animation like a museum exhibit, a meticulously kept catalog of artifacts and relics, mutual lifeblood siphoned dry. Don't fret, my duplicitous pet, as you tell yourself all your Janus face dealings bear no consequences. And consequently, while we're at it, choices made or not made can gaily sail off into the horizon, go blast into orbit and settle Mars, or knob off and go straight to hell. I stopped helping when I stopped breathing in this cloy in your airspace. A heaving set of lungs sans disease, disembodied heart, a careless cadaver dashing madly out of our operating theater, naked and half insane. I don't make the rules. I booked my passage past you and got layover. In the interim of us, I'm here to look on from the cheap seats and applaud. Thank you.
Nice reading, Finn. Thank you so much. Thanks for sharing the work of Andrea Gibson. I know that her loss hit hard for a lot of people. And like I said earlier, as long as we keep their work on our tongues, we continue to benefit from their presence in a way. So thank you very much. Thanks for being here. Round of applause for Finn Bell. All right, on deck is Michael G. Hickey. Please welcome now Ed Potastic. Hello, Ed. Ed, are you with us? Ed Potastic. All right. Well, not sure what happened to Ed, but we're going to move on to Michael G. Hickey, and we're going to say that Dig Wayne is on deck. We'll see if we can get Ed back. So, Dig Wayne, you are on deck. Please welcome now Michael G. Hickey. Hi, Michael.
Hello, Rick. Hello, everyone. I wasn't sure what I was going to read tonight until I spoke to one of my, I'm the oldest of 11, spoke to one of my siblings. And then I thought yeah. So anyway, I've been moving lately and I ran across a lot of my old Arizona stuff. I went to the University of Arizona, escaped from the Midwest, some of my old Stetsons and I don't know, some boots and stuff. I don't know. I just got in the mood to read this one poem, just one. For a little context, after a 14-year breakup of the Eagles, Glenn Frey and Don Henley finally got back together again in '94. And this is the first song that they wrote was called Get Over It for the album aptly named, I think, Hell Freezes Over. And so that was in 1994. So the line that's the epigraph of the poem is this. You bitch about the present, blame it on the past. I'd like to find your inner child and kick its little ass. This poem is called Your Inner Child, Tombstone, Arizona. As the saloon's swinging double doors bust wide open, there he is, wild-eyed, seeking retribution, a sawed-off silhouette, backlit and framed by the afternoon sun. The sky tattooed by cumulus clouds, your inner child sports an evil grin, with a diminutive six-shooter in each hand, at each hip. He has a face full of acne, countless scars, several missing teeth, misspelled tattoos, bad breath, all compacted into 2 feet and 3 inches of him, not counting the Stetson, and all 61 pounds of him, not counting the six-shooters. But don't be misled. This inner child of yours, this diminutive version of you, is a behemoth in bravery who towers over your character, your integrity, your dignity as he points and growls, "You're a mangy rattlesnake. You smell like cheap gin. You're boring and worse. You don't even know it." Despite the fact most of that is true, you know it's time to take your inner child outside for the classic gunfight at OK Corral, Tombstone, Arizona. You've been dying to kick his tiny little toddler-sized ass for quite some time. And now, but be careful because Wyatt Earp and Doc Holliday aren't here to save you this time. And did you happen to notice all your inebriated saloon buddies have already taken 2 steps back? Thank you.
Michael, thank you. Strong hat game tonight. I just received, of course, Orgy at the Chinchilla Factory. Thank you for sending me this, which I already liked according to the blurb on the back cover. So if I trust me, I know that this is a good book. I was a little concerned about all the actual pictures of chinchilla orgies and
Yeah, so just so
and
people know, there's a disclaimer on page 2. There are no chinchillas, there are no orgies. So yeah, you might be disappointed. And Rick keeps calling it the Chinchilla Factory. It's Orgy at the Chinchilla Ranch. Factory and ranch, big difference, Rick.
I sit corrected, but I'm pretty sure this picture I'm looking at is just a classic chinchilla orgy. I mean, it's abstract for sure, but I know that that's what's I've been looking at this for hours, just to make sure that what I'm seeing is right. Anyway, I'm spending too much time on this. I guess they didn't need a chinchilla factory because they just manufacture themselves, is what you're saying?
I guess I'm just glad my Catholic mother's not alive to hear any of this.
She's probably hanging out with my mom, I guess. Michael, thanks for being here tonight. Thank you for the book. Round of applause for Michael G. Hickey. You'd think I write a blurb for the back of the book, I might know what it's called, but here we are. On deck is Heidi Casa. Please welcome now Dig Wayne. Hello, Dig.
Hello, Rick. Hello, everybody. I got two new ones, actually. Uh, this one's called The Weight of Virtue. Button your lip, pal. Leave those rosy wise barbs at the torn screen doors of eternity. Leave those rosy wise barbs at the torn screen doors of eternity. No one will remember your detours and tailgate parties, reciprocities for hire. Carry your fine filters in a breast pocket. Inhale the din of responsibility, respectability. Those gummies, man. Inhale the din of respectability. Anesthetize your tongue so shit is not so bitter to the touch. Ventilate your soul for public consumption to die for. The high road is a dark path littered with tender silk sandals. Roadkill righteous buzzards dangle from cool power lines, sopping up the indignant. So find yourself a teaspoon to drown in before the spooks come to haunt that basket of heads in your boot. Whew. Okay. This one, I had this title for a while, and I finally put something to it. It's not really finished, I don't think, but I wanted to read it. It's called Pillow Fights and Tickle Parties. By big-bellied slavery deniers chewing their sour cud like fascist bubblegum, ruminating again and again, never able to fully swallow the lies that bubble and pop on their fat noses, suffocating their common sense with the loyalty of billion-dollar jackass scholarships, a full ride, as it were. Cottage cheese thighs hold up the entire ceiling over iconic demolition derby winners in powder wigs and buckle-top shoes. Picking cotton on a soup plantation is hard work, but laced doily sweat dries to a sweet crust. Big old horse laughs and spin the wheel. That's as far as I got. I don't know where I'm going with that one.
That's okay. Hopefully we find out someday. I'm enjoying these weekly episodes of what has Dig Wayne put into his body this week.
Well, it gets tricky sometimes, I will say, just to kind of deflect that a little bit, Michael G. Hickey, I'm sorry, it looks like he's got a proper Hopalong Cassidy hat there. I'm appreciating that, Michael.
Good deflection. I mean, I say that with my little empty jar of whatever was in it earlier today. So, it's said with love, respect, and solidarity.
Yeah.
It's mezcal, which I don't know if you remember, the last time I had mezcal was 2 weeks ago, and that's the day that Wyatt Underwood died. So I was drinking it cautiously in case that was the cause.
That's interesting. Yeah, there was a marked difference there. I remember you said that. There was a marked difference. Things didn't go off track, but they swerved a little bit.
They went off at least one of the rails.
Off the rail.
That's right.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a monorail, so we still had one. Dig, always appreciate your work and your presence here. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. My pleasure. Thanks, everybody, for listening.
Round of applause for Dig Wayne. Two more, and then me to close out the open reading. Walker Valdez, you're on deck. Please welcome now Heidi Casa. Hello, Heidi.
Hi, Rick. Hello, everybody. I have two. Uprooting memory. A pluck from a banjo, twanging out like roots, stretching from plants, clinging to dirt homes. At the sound, an electric moment, illuminating sources, how far connections stretch. Like a slight twist to the acupuncture needle, activating lines veining into the sunken, sodden past. Roots symbolizing growth rather than return, repeat, remain. The needle exacting, its resonances uplifting patterns, like the first unsticking of the paint layer from the stamp. in defiance. Hard to sketch the weight of yesterday morning, plus the anvil of 15 years, unchanged, unenamored, in my bent head and tired fingers, stubbornly aimed at the desk like an arrow. I think, stop making your body a question, waiting on someone else's answer. I'll sit here and write in defiance. Thank you.
Please keep doing that, because the stuff that you do in defiance, or even just for the sake of art, is always really stunning and beautiful and powerful. Heidi, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for everything you do, Rick. Thanks.
My pleasure. Round of applause for Heidi Casa. I know Ed is here. I mean, in the Zoom. I just don't know that he's actually at his computer. So I'm just going to say, Ed, if you're here, say something in the chat, and we'll put you up next after Walker. If not, until next time, I guess. So either Ed or me is on deck. Please welcome now Walker Valdez. Hi, Walker.
Hey, how you doing? I haven't been here in a while, but as always, I'm always glad to be here. I got two pieces for y'all. All right. Okay. The first one is words like to fly too. By now, everyone knows that I wish to fly, but who knew that words like to fly too, and not just any words, but my words, including adjectives, nouns, verbs, adverbs, and even semicolons and apostrophes, because my words as of yesterday were huddled in a corner of the page, planning their escape. And my words as of yesterday were so eager to explore the universe that they had a blueprint, escape route, and the design of a paraglide, all stuffed in their backpacks while they plotted their flight for freedom. Watching skeptically from afar with binoculars, I was secretly rooting for them. I mean, they'd make great poems, but if they'd rather feel the wind caressing their face, massaging their scalp, and whispering sweet nothings in their ear, who was I to stop them from experiencing a feeling of weightlessness and pure bliss? And who was I to prevent them from a feeling where they get to feel the pristine presence of a higher being guiding them? And really, who was I to keep them from a place where limits are an afterthought and a sensation that can make them feel alive and free of constraints? So I sat there watching, mesmerized, until finally I saw them carefully approach the edge of the page, get a running start, close their eyes, take a deep breath, face their fears, take the big leap, and finally take off. Then I got another one for y'all. So that one I had written some months ago. This I wrote some days ago, and this is after like not writing for 3 months. It's called If I Was a Poem. All right. If I was a poem, then what kind of poem would I be? Would I be wild and free like free verse poetry? No rules while conversing with you poetically? If someone died, would I then transform to an elegy? Would bringing words to life be acting omnipotently? Would my fingertips be made up of metaphors and similes? And would my words bounce off the page rhythmically? Would they use syllabication to break free from banality, unlike other poems whose words start to taste syrupy, meaning lacking authenticity? Because I want to know. If I was a poem, would you need cliff notes to understand me, or would you find me approachable? Because honestly, I want to be accessible. If I was a poem, then what kind of poem would I be? And what if I was written with a sense of urgency, addressing the current state of the world that seems to be doused in kerosene? Would free verse be enough, or would an epic poem addressing how to fight back against repressive forces be a necessity? If I was a poem, then what kind of poem would I be? In a world full of harsh reality, would it be okay to show optimism if I promised to not overuse sentimentality? Would the rules of a sonnet stifle creativity, or written like Shakespeare, would it be considered revolutionary? If I was a poem, then what kind of poem would I be? Would it be smuggled in the middle of a speech for dramatic effect? Or would I be something I struggle with, like writing a haiku or limerick? Because I think I'd be a poem that showed vulnerability but still blew your mind when I put together words like a craftsman but planned like an architect. And the next part you might expect, but I'd show the plight of teachers and doctors who choose to leave the homeland with nothing to transform to nannies and busboys. Also, their kids can maybe get a better opportunity, you know, the ones you call immigrants. And I'd be a poem that teaches world geography, like showing where to find Bolivia, the country I was born in, on a map, pointing out how it fits snugly like a puzzle piece in the middle of South America, making them landlocked, but the way you could grab a handful of clouds in the subtropical paradise called Los Yungas while eating empanadas with a mountainside backdrop more than makes up for it. And I'd be a poem that made you laugh 1 minute, that made you self-reflect the next. And I'd be a poem that keeps you from glancing at your cell phone for a full 2 minutes and 20 seconds, which in the age of lack of attention and self-control is considered to be pretty damn impressive. And I'd be a poem that doesn't need to win an award to know that it won, because you'll be able to feel it deep in your bones. And I'd be a poem that fills your soul with nourishment when you're feeling all alone. And I'd be the poem that knows you typically didn't like spoken word poetry, but somehow this one just changed your mind. And I'd be the poem that made you go back and read the last line 3 times. And I'd be the poem that made you go back and read the last line 3 times. And I'd be the poem that made you go back and read the last line 3 times. Poem. Thank you very much.
Walker, thank you. You are a poem. I, in fact, think you should have business cards made up that just say Walker Valdez poem. Hand those out. Let it lie like that. Well done. Love the ending too. Nice job. Round of applause for Walker Valdez poem in the house. On deck is me to close out the open reading. Please welcome now Ed Potastic. Hello, Ed.
Hello, Rick. Thank you so much for having me, and thank you so much for your wonderful poetry and patience. And thank you, Finn Bell, for reminding me, and thank you, Christopher C. George. Always love seeing you. All right, my name is Ed Potastic. Finn, fantastic piece. Time to enjoy my rhyme. Five, sublime. I got 2 pieces, so I won't take too much time. My first piece is called No Adulting. Not trying to go to space, not trying to decorate your face, not trying to be a dinosaur, not trying to stomp and roar, not trying to act strange, not trying to be labeled estranged or deranged, not trying to daydream, not trying to think of being steam. It's a crime, I'm not going to lie. No imagination, I want to cry. We need to break the glass ceiling. We need to think outside the box. We need to use more feelings with reeling. We need to start playing with rocks. That's what I'm trying to say. We need more imaginative curiosity. Life isn't covered in white and gray. It's not one gigantic spewing travesty. Get lost in colors or in the stars. Grasp the power of imagination. Let's go here, there, and far. Think of it as a stress-free vacation. What will everybody think of me? Are you that obsessed with fitting in? Please take this advice from my poetry, which is to be like the blue sea, my friend. What does that mean, you might ask? You're thinking too much for my hunch. It's not a wild, complex, mundane task. Don't think a bunch, but use an imaginative touch. Thank you. This other one's called Histogram. Many shapes, drafts, and charts. The percentage in numbers and yards. Welcome to the analytical rabbit hole. It makes you question your soul. The shapes fill up with numerical logic. The analytic is going to pass common sense. 50% in and 50% in and 50% out. All these shapes are going to make me shout. Forgive me, I'm not used to all these percentages, perceptions going past my simple, easy peasy conceptions. I'm sorry, my mind is in a stump, keeping up. It feels like numbers getting dumped by trunks. Oh my, the terrors are stalking me when I go to bed. Oh my, the gears are crying out in my heavy head. These terrors are stupid remnants of the ancient history. They're risky for giving us injury towards our misery. Nobody wants to pay more for something. The constant overfunding will leave us flooding. I know you don't care because you're the president. An ego the size of an elephant. Yet, no, it's not a compliment. I never experienced a state with a lot of hate. I can't believe this fate without a slice of cake. Many regulations of information on speculation and observation of decoration will kill this generation. It's really sad that we are the land of the few, while everyone's American views look like poo. You're making other countries loathe and hate us. Who cares because you love the chaos and fuss? If you learn anything, it is that we feel the stings. We're just pawns controlled by the idiot king. I know revolution to change our odd situation, but if we fight, we'll just travel to a rich vacation. Thank you.
Ed, thank you. Preach, as it were. Thank you so much for your words. Glad we got you on tonight. Ed is one of the people, one of our new regulars, who, including Heather Romero Kornblum, who are going to be featured readers upcoming later this year. So glad we've got you in that slot coming up. Ed, thanks for being here tonight. There you go. All right, I'm going to round of applause for Ed Potastic. I'm going to close out the open reading with a couple of poems. This is my new book, High Moose Alert at the Chinchilla Factory. It's poems that I wrote last summer in Alaska, Vancouver, and the Canadian Yukon. This is a poem that I wrote in Vancouver one night after a lovely dinner on Main Street. It's called Dinner in Vancouver. A leisurely walk down Main Street after a vegetarian tasting menu which can only be described as a Caligula of flavor. I determine there are many great pizzas to try in this part of town. My stomach won't allow for any of them now, and we are leaving on a large boat tomorrow, so it may never happen. But if all hell breaks loose and California sinks into the ocean and the great American experiment fails, I know Vancouver is a viable option. Well, so far, California hasn't fallen into the ocean, but the other part of that, it's touch and go right now here in America. This is my new poem for this week's Torah portion. It responds to this line of text. Well, actually, I'm not even going to read the line of text. It basically, we're getting to the end of the Torah when God and Moses are just getting antsy and listing lots of laws because they're running out of pages, I assume. And it's reminding us of all these different holidays that we must celebrate. There's a lot of Jewish holidays. This poem is called There's Always a Jewish Party Around the Corner. There's always a Jewish party around the corner, and our parties have rules. Passover is coming. We're already thinking about it in August when the last one is closer. The pizza I ate tonight will not be eaten when Passover comes around again. That's just one lesson in August when so much pizza will be eaten before the months pass and the 7-day prohibition kicks in. Shavuot is even further away, or closer if you go backwards. We must rejoice on Shavuot. I'm a fan of rejoicing, so this should be an easy one to follow. Pizza is allowed as long as we remember we were slaves. Sukkot is actually around the corner, and we must observe it. It's the law. More rejoicing. Everyone's invited. Bring your fruit, your best fruit. It was all organic back then. We can learn from that. There's always a Jewish party around the corner. It wouldn't be a party without you. You must come. We haven't gotten to the part about the chinchillas yet, but we're getting there. We're going to get there, everyone. Thank everyone for being here tonight. What a fun, fantastic evening that we had. Oh, I forgot to tell you, I keep reading these Torah portions every week, Torah portion poems. You should be getting credit for Torah studies. So if you need a note for your rabbi, let me know. I'm happy to pass that on to you. There's the stuff in the chat to thank Todd Robinson for his featured reading. Again, you can download the broadside for Todd's poem at the Cobalt Poet website at that link right there. When you are there, click on the calendar and see who else is coming up. Sarah Freligh will be with us next week. And if you're new here, feel free to add yourself to our email list. Also on the website, so you receive the weekly emails about who's reading coming up, as well as a convenient Zoom link. There's Todd's website again, toddfather.net, and a link to his most recent book, Mass for Shut-ins, at both Amazon and bookshop.org. Thank you so much, Todd, for being here and bringing out so many people. I hope you come back. I hope people come back and participate more. It'd be great to hear more of everyone's work. Thanks for everyone for participating in the open reading. Thanks for all of you who just came to listen. There's the Ask All to Unmute button. Feel free.
I feel free.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Sure,
poets.
cuz. Sure,
Good to see
everybody
Thank
from
you.
New Zealand.
Yeah, super awesome.
Great work.
Thank you,
See you in
everyone.
Dreamland. See you in Dreamland, everybody.
Chinchillas for everyone.
Thank you, Todd, for great work.
You too.
Rick.
Thank
And
you all. You're
finally,
lovely,
See us next
everybody.
week.
My God, John
Come
Lennon's
back,
here.
Todd. Come back.
You're right.
I will do.
Night. Love you.
Love you too. Bye, dears.
Great work, everyone.
Really enjoying your book, Rick.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I saw that Bella held up a copy there as well. I'm really enjoying it. It's you know, I have it sitting in different rooms. I'll come through and I'll just pick it up and read a couple, and then put it down and discover it later. So it's a good read. I enjoy the brevity of a lot of the pieces.
Thanks. Yeah, I was inspired by Richard Brautigan to be brief a lot of the times, so I appreciate that. And it is a book meant to be in many different rooms, so I appreciate that you're walking around your house with it. Thank you.
Yeah, just when I was on tonight, I go, where is it? I'm in the kitchen. I go, where is it? Where is it? And I go, it must be in there. And I went, and it was right where I thought it was, but there it was. I brought it back. I tried to find the poem you were reading as you were reading it, but I didn't get there, so I just listened. But yeah, it's a beautiful book. Beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
Right.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. Okay, I'm signing off. Good to see everybody.
Yeah. Thanks, Rick.
See you next week.
Yeah. I'll hope to be back next week.
Yeah.
Right.
Chris, don't be a stranger.
I won't. Thanks.